The truth is that you're probably better at creating automations than I am. You can probably build them better, more efficiently. You know which tools to use. You're probably better at using N8N or Zapier or Vappy, for example. You can probably use APIs blindfolded. But the question that you have to ask yourself is, why are you not making any money from it? And the answer to that is different to what everybody keeps telling you, where you need to keep improving your skills and then you will be making more money. But being technical is not your problem. It's how you're using those skills which is holding you back. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix it. Now, real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Hamza Beg. I go by Hamza Automates on social platforms. I'm the founder of a 7-figure award-winning AI automation agency. You can see me here winning some of my awards. I've also worked with some of the most famous and biggest influencers like Tai Lopez, for example, going on his podcast and building a lot of systems alongside him as well. I also run one of the biggest automation-based school communities, which I'll talk to you about at the end of the video about. But all this to say, I know exactly what you're going through. I've been in your shoes and I'm going to show you how to overcome it. Now, for most people getting into this space, they fall into something what I call the skill trap, or they get stuck in what's called builder mode, where they feel that if they just learn a bit more, or if they refine their tools just a bit more, or they memorize this new API documentation that's coming out, or they understand something just to a higher level, then that's where all the money is waiting. Like, it's just like they have to get behind this certain threshold, and then they're going to be ready to hit the market. But the truth is, that if you think like that, you will never in your mind be ready to hit the market because the goalpost keeps moving. You can always learn one more thing and you can always keep adding to your skill stack, but it's going to get to a point where it doesn't even matter. And that's a very important concept where the client that you're dealing with and who you're speaking to, their bar and expectations is a lot lower than you realize. They're not as technical as you think. So a 70% automated solution versus an 80, 90, or even close to 100% solution in their eyes is not that different. It does not make that big of a difference than that marginal jump. If you're adding, a better model that's working on the back end, all they care about is it getting the outcome that you want, you and them both want. So there's a great concept here called the sigmoid function, and the way that it works is there's a plateau here. So you can think of x-axis as like time, and then the y-axis as like output. And you can see here that when you invest about 70% of your time here, the output starts to taper off. Like you can keep investing all of this extra time, but the added value is very marginal, and that's exactly how it works in any kind of business. Where if you hit that base level competence where it's like, this is good enough for me to get paid from it, then a lot of people waste time going above and beyond and exceptional, where realistically, tangibly, the market doesn't give a shit. The business owner doesn't care. You've gotten the result that he wanted right there. So focus on that. Do not overanalyze and strive for perfection because you will fail and you will not make any money. Now, in terms of what clients actually want, it's very simple. It comes down to 3 letters. All they care about is ROI, return on investment. If I give you $5, can you get me more than $5 back? And if so, how much more? If I give you 5, you give me 50 back. That's a fantastic ROI. It makes sense for me to keep investing into your systems. That is it. Don't think that, oh, they want X amount of hours back in their day. That they don't give a shit. It's about dollars that they get back. If they can quantify time, fantastic. But if you can generate revenue for them, that's all that they care about. So they don't care that you're using GPT 4.5 instead of 3.5 and this does this and this is a more sleeker, more efficient outcome. They don't care. It's about, does this system work? Is it solving a problem for me? And if so, am I getting a good ROI on that? So please understand that. Don't try and impress them, because if you go above and beyond, start selling features, impressing them with, all of these different tools and then your name dropping technical stuff just to show you're competent, then it's actually just going to turn them off. They're like, I don't want to deal with all of this. This sounds far too complicated. Keep it simple and sell outcomes. That is simply your job. Now, you as an agency owner and entrepreneur who's trying to make it, here are some signs that you're stuck, because I run a school committee, right? I teach people how to get into this space. I see it every single day of people who are struggling and, they go through all of these things right here. So one is that you watched every course under the sun. You're hopping between creator to creator. You're listening to a bunch of different messages, but you actually haven't reached out to a single lead. This is awful. If you have not started sales, and even in my programs, like level 2, like literally as soon as you cover the basics, step 2 is get your first client. Start talking to people. Enter the market, because if you are just consuming content, you are bound to fail. Content is not action, it's productive masturbation. You think you're being productive because you're learning something, but in agency, in online entrepreneurship, action is what leads to actual results, not watching videos, I promise you. Next is you keep postponing outreach because you're not ready. So this goes back to our earlier fundamental point where you think that, once you acquire X amount of skills, or once you get to that point where you're like a perfect automation specialist, then you're ready. But the truth is you will never be ready. You're going to keep postponing it because it's an excuse. You don't feel confident right now, so you think you'll feel confident later, but then later comes around and you're still not confident. You're literally just making excuses to buy yourself time to achieve nothing. That's the bottom line of that. And next is you judge your progress by how clever your automations are, not by how much revenue they generate or impact or outcome that they have. So I do not care if you make a 50-step automation that looks beautiful and it's using all this custom code and these different, custom nodes and things like that. If that is what you care about and what you're flexing, and someone else achieved that same outcome with, like, 8 modules and a much smaller cost effective automation, then they're actually winning. They're far more impressive because all you've done is, just shown off something irrelevant. It's vanity. You're going after vanity metrics, like, look how complex this automation is. And sure, it looks good when you're posting it on social media. I understand that it's all marketing, right? But if you truly believe that the value of the automation comes from its look and its complexity rather than its outcome, then you're backwards. And that's something you need to work on, because outcomes, revenue, and the result is all that matters. And that's something you need to seriously consider. So what can you actually do? So now in terms of how to actually make some money and make some progress, we're going to do what I call the boring money routine. So for this, you're going to actually do some outreach. You're going to do the one thing that could potentially get you clients, because building random automations and practicing in your basement is not going to get you clients. It's not going to make you money, but the boring money routine might. So what we're going to do is your daily non-negotiables. You're going to start doing outreach, and there's different ways to do it. I recommend doing all of these. Well, it's sending at least 5 Loom videos to prospects. So, create a custom video for them, introduce yourself at the beginning, have their website open or have something to resemble their business, talk to them directly. Introduce yourself, say, hey, I'm local, I live nearby, this is what I do for a living. This is something that I've built for you. Here's how I could help. Do you have 15 minutes for me to come by, meet you in person, and then we can see what we can do together? Similar fashion, send 20 emails to businesses. There's always people posting ads on Upwork, for example, looking for work, looking for projects, looking for people to fulfill them. That could be you. You can simply just submit that application. If they like you, if your profile looks good, they'll go for it. And then actually have one sales conversation. So from all of these, hopefully it should lead to one conversation. Maybe just pick up the phone, talk to somebody. These are all indirect. You might not get a response, but if you pick up the phone and call somebody, you're going to be talking to a human. So at least have one conversation regardless of how you booked it. Now, the next thing I want to do, and the last thing, the most important thing, is you need to stop thinking like a technician. You're not an employee. If you're watching my video, if you're in my course, if you're watching my content, it's to become a business owner. You want to take ownership of your life. And a lot of that is on the sales side, the relationship side. It's not enough to just build. You can build all day long, but if you want to get paid for it, sales is everything, right? So you need to start thinking like a business owner, not just a technician, because one, you're overinflating how much you need to know as a technician. You think you need to know like all the way up here, but really you can get by with here, and then you can learn on the job to fill in the gaps. So please don't think that you need to know all this, random stuff. It's not that necessary. And this is a great quote. So being a great builder is your starting point, but if you want to scale, you have to stop hiding behind your talent. You need to actually put it out there and stop relying on your ability to build, but to actually become a business owner. You need to become the kind of person who sells results, leads conversations, and closes deals. This is a non-negotiable. You can't be an employee. You can't be a technician. You can't think by being a programmer you're going to inspire and close deals. You need to become a business owner. And because you have to understand that the market doesn't reward the smartest people, it rewards the clearest communicators of value, which is why at the beginning I said, yeah, maybe I'm not the smartest. There's people on my team who are far smarter than me, but I understand the market, how to speak to business owners, how to get them to understand what we're building, what that outcome is. And that is your skill. That can make you way more money than being the greatest guy in psychmake.com or Zapier or something. And then the truth is, and the honest truth is, that there are 10 times dumber people that are making 10 times more money than you just because they learned how to speak in terms of outcomes. All these gurus you see online, all these people posting videos on social media, they are not as smart as you in terms of automations and what they can build, but they've understood marketing, branding, communication, and speaking in terms of the business owner's outcomes. And finally, all right, so hopefully you internalized all of this. And if you are ready to start closing deals, now, of course, I want to teach you that. That is really the crux of everything that I do. So you can join my school community at school.com/automate. It is 100% free. Inside the classroom section over here, we have level 2, which is literally called Get Your First Client. One is teach you the basics, understand, get to this baseline level. Level 2, immediately start selling, talk to people, get your name out there, and then you will learn in real life on the job. So that's going to be very important for you. Feel free to join. You can shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to support you. Everything that you could possibly need to become an automation entrepreneur, not just an automation specialist who works for somebody else in the shadows, but someone who knows how to build and sell. Everything you need is inside this community here. So I look forward to meeting you. Shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you on this journey. Take care.